Hi, this is Hot Chocolate with Paul for June 28, 2026, and we are 1 week away from the Semiquincentennial of the United States. And I'm here to talk about my memories of the Bicentennial and what my plans are for the Quincentennial. On July 4, 1976, I was 15 years old. I was a member of the Grease Cadets Drum and Bugle Corps, and we were preparing for the Bicentennial of the United States, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I remember it being a very exciting time. There were a lot of parades going on. I was involved in a lot of those parades. At that time, I played bass drum with the Grease Cadets Drum and Bugle Corps. Prior to that, I was a cymbal player for several years. I remember playing at a lot of Legion posts and VFWs and places like that with the Grease Cadets, because at that time, a lot of the veterans from World War II and the Korean War were in the prime of their years, and we used to do a lot of concerts for them. And we actually stayed at a lot of the places where they had VFW posts. We'd be traveling around several states of the United States, and we would be sleeping in our sleeping bags on the floor of places like that. So we played for them too. And it was quite an exciting time. Being 15, I was not aware of a lot of politics of the day, but what stood out to me was the enthusiasm that we had for the United States and what it stood for. We also had the America Freedom Train. The Freedom Train was something that was really exciting that was going around the country. The Freedom Train was one of the signature events of the Bicentennial era, and something many people who were teenagers like myself in 1976 still remember vividly. The train was a traveling museum that visited all 48 contiguous states between April 1975 and December 1976, attracting more than 7 million visitors. It carried over 500 historical artifacts, including George Washington's copy of the Constitution, a moon rock, Judy Garland's dress from The Wizard of Oz, and many other pieces of American history. I do remember that my school took a field trip to see the Freedom Train, but I do remember that after we got off the bus, we walked in one end of the train, walked through all the cars that were showing the various exhibits of the Freedom Train, and then came out the other end. Besides the Freedom Train, we had things going on around the country like colonial reenactments, special coins, stamps, and memorabilia, and communities decorating everything in red, white, and blue. And in 1975, about a year before all of that happened, being a member of the Grease Cadets, I was asked to participate in a photography session by Kodak, because Kodak was running a campaign in 1976 called Capture the Spirit on Kodak Film. And I was one of those chosen to do a photo session where pictures like these were taken and edited so that they could be distributed to various places around the country and in publications to sell Kodak film. On the actual day of July 4, 1976, I was not home. I was in Herkimer, New York with the Grease Cadets, and we were part of a drum and bugle corps competition that was going on that day. Sadly, I don't have much information to remind me of who was participating in that competition, but I do remember that that's where I was. And on the flip side of it, I missed a big neighborhood picnic that was going on. It's hard to be in two places at the same time, but that was my life at the time, and I chose to be part of the Drum and Bugle Corps. Other events going around the country on July 4, 1976 included the tall ships in New York Harbor. That was pretty exciting to see, even though I wasn't there in person. One trip that the Grease Cadets did in 1976 was a competition in Philadelphia. And while we were there, We went to see Betsy Ross's house, where the first American flag was sewn together. My family came to see that competition, and on our way home from Philadelphia, we stopped in Valley Forge, which is the historic Pennsylvania site where George Washington's Continental Army encamped during the harsh winter of 1777 and 78. It's about 20 miles northwest of Philadelphia. It's on 3,500 acres and now operates as Valley Forge National Historic Park. So now we are 50 years later, and we are up to the Semiquincentennial. And I am involved in activities on this 250th anniversary. On July 4th, I will be at the Genesee Country Village and Museum in Mumford, New York, with my current Fife and Drum group, the Excelsior Brigade Fife and Drum Corps. This year, we are going to do something a little bit different. Usually we are in our Civil War uniforms, but because we're celebrating 250 years of America, us members are going to be in different uniforms. Some of us will still have the Civil War uniforms, others are going to have the Revolutionary uniforms, and others are going to have the War of 1812 uniforms, and that's what I'll be wearing. So that'll be at the Genesee Country Village and Museum on July 4, 2026, next Saturday. So if you're in the area and would like to come out and meet us, I'll be there. It would be great to see you. These are a few scenes from our celebrations in the past when we performed at the Genesee Country Village and Museum on July 4th. Given the current political climate in the United States, some people are wondering why we should even celebrate our 250th birthday at all. Well, that's something I've been thinking about. One way to look at it is to reflect on the democratic values and principles of the United States. The promise of ideas, for example. For many, the Semiquincentennial is an opportunity to celebrate the enduring philosophical ideals of the Declaration of Independence, such as liberty, equality, and self-governance, rather than the specific action of any era's policies, politicians, or institutions. We can celebrate the legacy of a peaceful change. Some see the anniversary as a moment to honor the resilience of a constitutional system that, despite polarization, has provided a stable framework for debate, voting, and peaceful transitions of power for the 2.5 centuries. Also, the long story of progress. Another perspective views the 250th as a celebration of the countless citizens, activists, and leaders throughout history who fought to expand the rights and freedoms of the Constitution to marginalized groups, demonstrating that the nation is capable of positive evolution. We can approach this milestone with critical reflection, such as an honest assessment. The current political climate makes a traditional celebration feel disconnected from reality. This viewpoint emphasizes using the milestone not for uncritical patriotism, but as a sober time to evaluate where the nation is falling short of its founding promises. Focus on ongoing challenges. From this angle, the anniversary serves as a reminder of the work that remains to address deep-seated issues like political division, social inequality, and institutional distrust, making it a call to civic action rather than a party. Inclusiveness and truth-telling. Many historians and civic groups suggest that the 250th should focus on telling a complete, complex story of America, honoring both its remarkable achievements and its historical injustices to create a more honest foundation for future unity. So my point of view is that I'm looking at the good fortunes that I personally have had since I've lived in the United States all of my life. I was born and raised here. My father emigrated to the United States from Germany in the 1950s to find better opportunities than what were available in Germany in the 1950s. Germany at that time was still recovering from World War II. I appreciate the fact that I've been able to choose my own destiny as a citizen of the United States. I've had a good life since I was born, and I would like those opportunities to go to other immigrants when things are done the right way. So those are my thoughts and my plans and my memories for the bicentennial, the semiquincentennial of the United States, and I hope to maybe see some of you come out to the Genesee Country Village and Museum on Saturday, July 4th, when I will be performing there with the Excelsior Brigade Fife and Drum Corps. Hot Chocolate with Paul is a video log of life experiences that I feel might inspire other people. I'm a minimalist 60-plus geezer in the making. Sometimes my wife Stacy will appear. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can catch new videos whenever they come out.